SNDK is already shaping up to be the best stock of 2026. And I've said it once and I'll say it again, I do think SNDK is a top 3 stock. Last year it was up 980% on the year. And in 2026, it is already up 54%. It gave us a really nice pullback into this support level, which is also visible on the weekly, leading to the start of this swing. I unfortunately did not catch it on this day, but I did catch it on the breakout, leading into all-time highs. And this is all within a hot theme that we can all see playing right in front of us. AI memory is sold out, causing an unprecedented price surge. So we can continue to expect SanDisk to do well because it's in a hot sector. And because this is a hot sector, that means there should be plenty of other stocks under this name capable of making strong moves. So why don't I head over to my memory data storage group and take a look at how some of these names are doing. Currently, I've got SNDK, STX, WDC, MU, and PSTG. All up on the day on Friday. As when one group leads, you can expect all the stocks within that group to follow. Let's take a look at STX, and it looks like it's pulling back into a support level here, which it looks like it has found support. It seems to be surfing the rising moving averages. It did give us an inside day, however, this is a really wide inside day. I think if this does break out with a volume, it has to be on the radar. But take a look at WDC and tell me if you notice something. Doesn't it look awfully similar to STX? I want to keep an eye on this as well, because if one of them breaks out, it could signal that the sector is on the move. However, I would prefer a tighter volatility contraction. We always want to buy from tightness, not from expansion. But it's very important to keep an eye on the leading stocks from the leading sectors. And if they show volume and momentum with a strong market, it definitely has to be on the radar. MU is probably one of the best, or maybe second, I would say top 2 in this space along with SanDisk. It seems they are already up quite nicely from this breakout out of this key level. Let's head over to Finviz. To see what performed on the day. It looks like we had basic materials, also a leading sector as well, with gold and silver and copper doing really well. And in fact, I do have a couple of breakouts from Friday that I do want to go through, and they were all precious metal stocks coming from key levels. So we've got basic materials at 1.48%, industrials second at 1.39%, and consumer defensive at 1.18%. Let's take a closer look at the industry level. Mortgage and finance, but there's likely not anything here of substance because this is primarily a lagging sector, and we do avoid lagging sectors, or at least I do. I like to focus on leading stocks from leading sectors, and if we look at some of these on the weekly chart, a lot of them kind of going sideways. We might have one here and one here, but these are not likely to make a big move. So let's head on back and take a look at what's going on the weekly level and identify the leading sectors that are in the lead. And so far I can see silver up 15% on the week. We have other precious metals. We have copper. We have coal and semiconductor equipment and materials, aluminum as well. So you could see the precious metals have taken quite a chunk of the top 5, top 10 area here. So going into the next week, I will be keeping an eye on that sector, as I can see that the rotation is continuously moving into that sector. 1 month performance, we have aluminum taking the top spot here at 41%, pretty large compared to everything else. So here are some stocks to watch from the aluminum sector, but as we can see, they are very extended. And the goal now would be to wait for a pullback, because that is the beginning of the swing, sort of like this pullback in NVA, which was a precious metal stock that broke out on Friday. And on the weekly chart, I can see that we have the moving average support of the 10 and 20. And on the daily chart, we have the 10, 20, and 50 all curling. And then we get this gap up here. So now we have a pullback on the weekly, a pullback on the daily, and it's above all its moving averages, and it's from the precious metal sector. This was a great setup that ended up 14% on the day, but that wasn't the only precious metal that did pretty well from a key level on Friday. NGD broke out from this key level. This key level here is blue because it symbolizes all-time highs. And we get this gap up, and then price just pretty much rips and it doesn't turn back, and it closes near the highs of the day. Again, this is gold, it's a precious metal, and this stock is really benefiting from that pressure from this sector. But not only that, in this case, we also have good earnings and sales, 80% and 212% on this one. I've got one more that I thought broke out on Friday that looked pretty well, and it was FSM, which was pulling into, again, an all-time high level with this support level. We get an insight there, and then it gaps up as well with a slight increase in volume, and it ends up higher on the day. All precious metal names. This is the gold ETF, and it's steadily climbing, quite a nice trend. And it looks like it's about to, well, it looks like it has broken out of this all-time high level. So prices could continue to move, and we could have new breakouts from other precious metal stocks because there are so many. But if we get a pullback, it will not probably be the end of the world, as we have the rising moving averages and we're coming out of a fresh base. Gold, silver, precious metals, they all did really well in 2025, and I think that will continue because we're seeing absolutely no slowdown in that momentum. Keep an eye on what's moving and pay attention to some of the names that seem to be breaking out with strong volume, and wait for those pullbacks. For more updates like these, go ahead and hit the like button and maybe even subscribe. Cheers, everybody.